going on, guys? I hope you are well. In this video I'm going, that's cool, low flying plane. In this video I'm gonna kind of be going over some things with, I don't know if it's issues or just kind of some information about weekly lawn care service versus bi-weekly, and kind of some stuff you run into, you know, in the peak of the season. So hopefully it'll help some people, you know, if you have a lawn care business or you're starting out a lawn care business, or you just want to change some stuff up, or maybe you can share your stories. So the house I'm going to, it's really nice today. It's overcast, but it's not hot, so it's pretty, I'm liking it. But the house I'm going to, the property, it's a bi-weekly customer, and good customer. He is a card on file customer, because he would kind of pay a little later, which is not a problem. But if you're a bi-weekly customer, or you have a bi-weekly lawn, the thing you can run into is, or even with weekly, is it's time to service before the customer pays. So maybe you're like, oh, I don't do the cards on file, or I collect a check, or do all that stuff. Well, I don't, because I want to spend my time mowing, and then I can just shoot them a text when it's time to pay, give them a reminder. And if usually all my new customers, I do credit card on file. But if there's an issue with any of, you know, paying a little later than usual, then I'll switch them over to credit card on file, and then that's one thing that I do. But yeah, this one, the so-called thing you'll run into is, say you have a bi-weekly and it rains, then you have a rain delay. So that means you might not be able to service that property until week 3. So, or it may be really long, you know. So the issue that I'm having now, or not really an issue, it's just a thing I'm dealing with now, is this lawn is a Bermuda lawn. I already have to cut it at 3 inches because of how much fertilizer they put on it. So it is really overgrown. And then they had construction work, so I haven't been here for 3 weeks. So that being said, there's gonna be a lot of clippings. So I'll give you some pointers on how to get rid of the clippings when you're having a clipping fest. So yeah, I'm gonna put you guys on my lawnmower just because it's easier to film that way. So you'll see me blasting these clippings, guys. So let's get into it. Thanks for tuning in to Jolka Outdoors. If you have any questions or want to add anything, just put it down in the comments, guys. Alright guys, I'm chiming in here just because I filmed it, you know, while I was out on the lawn. So I wanted to kind of go over what I'm doing. I mean, I know you guys know, like, what do you mean you're mowing? But like this grass, I don't know if you can see it on the thing. Like, this grass was 8 inches of Bermuda, guys. So you'll see what I do is I'm working around the edges, and I'm blowing a lot of the stuff with my side discharge chute. I'm blowing it into the lawn. I'm not blowing it into the road or anything like that, because then you're just gonna have to blow it back. So I make some passes around, and I do kind of the outline, and I just go around that basically the whole time until I get to the center. And then once I get the clippings mainly in the center, then I'll run them over multiple times. And then you'll see me, I'll open my chute because I have the flap, so I'll, if I'm shooting at the house, I'll close it. If I'm shooting it out in the lawn, it's open. Right there, it just opened up. Over here, I gotta watch these rocks. And you'll notice like there's weeds in there. They take care of that kind of stuff. They don't want me to spray that. You'll see this little, looks like a little bleach patch. That's from the company they use. They sprayed the nutsedge. So they spray the weeds, they spray fertilizer all over this yard. It is a healthy, growing. Look at the grass, guys. The grass looks great. It's two different types of Bermuda, but the grass is really healthy. So cutting it bi-weekly, you're making 8 inches into 3. I'm cutting at 3 inches here, guys. That's not ideal for Bermuda, but this is a bi-weekly lawn. If I cut it down to 2 inches or 1.5, there's going to be nowhere for me to put the clippings. So if you wanted to do that, one thing you could do is you could get a tarp and put all the clippings in the tarp, and then drag them into the woods if they have a place you could put them. But customer, I'm not charging for that, so they're just getting a standard service. But if you guys are ever in a real overgrowth, you can do that in a pinch. I've done that. So I've taken the clippings home, guys, and just put them somewhere. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do, especially if you're starting out. And I've talked to the customer and I asked them like, hey, your lawn is growing. You can see I'm overlapping because it's leaving like a little mohawk because it's so long. The engine I had is not that powerful. So you'll see now it's jumped. Now you see all those clippings everywhere. So you'll see me here. I'm giving you an example of what I do is I'll just run them over multiple times. Sometimes I'm closing the chute to make them smaller. Sometimes I'm letting them blast. And right now I don't have mulching blades on. I have high lift blades because to me that gives a better cut. Doesn't mulch it as well. I mean, in my opinion, if you had mulching blades, it would mulch it, finer. I mean, if you had the mulching plate, that would maybe work. But you're going to be going so slow, just mulching. You can't move as fast if you're doing that with 8 to 10 inches of grass. But anyway, I talked to the customer, and I was like, hey, your lawn, it's not the best idea. It's not that great for the lawn to take that much off the clipping. Like, you're cutting a lot of the green out of it. You want to switch to weekly, and then they're like, oh no, unfortunately we can't right now. So I try to switch them in when I can, and then you'll notice here I got the blower out. I blew out all the clippings there out of the nooks and crannies of my lawnmower. And then what I do here, I'm doing the border. I'll blow it all in the middle. I'm not blowing the driveway off right now. I'm not worried about that. I'm trying to disperse of the clippings. And if you wanted to spend more time, you can blow all the clippings into the center and then get your lawnmower and go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Do that about 20 times. and eventually you'll have nothing but mulchy clippings, and then you blow that out. And then if you go backwards, blow it out backwards. If you mow it backwards, it kind of disperses the clippings. Or you could bag mow. You could bag mow everything if you want, but you'd be there pretty much all day. So I have, how many lawns did I do? I think 6 or 7 lawns that day. So not a whole lot, but I can't really spend too much time, you know, with overgrowth. If there's not if it's not really worth the time, you know, unfortunately. And then you'll notice on the hill, like if you look closely where I'm at, I might zoom in. You can see how uneven that is cut. I'm not proud of that. When I started, that whole hill was mulch area. So he put grass on that hill. I would have put some shrubs or like some juniper or something right there, because it's literally like this, guys. So the side plate of my mower, I don't have anti-scalp wheels. The side plate is just digging into the hill. So yeah, I could go straight down, and I do that, try to change up the pattern, but even that, it doesn't matter. It still does it. So you'll see I'm just blowing this clipping fest. I'm just trying to disperse it as best as I can. Blowing it out. The good thing about Bermuda is that the clipping is a dry clipping. It's not a wet clipping like a fescue. A fescue, or say you're mowing a lot of weeds like crabgrass, you know, it's just gonna clump. So you'll see it's like powdery, feathery clippings. It's nice and dry. The negative is you'll see there's a lot of gray clipping, because the way the Bermuda grows, it grows kind of like this, and then it'll shoot out and have these little shoots. So those shoots will have the green on them. So when you cut that and then you cut it again, you know, you'll get the brown little clippings. So those little brown ones kind of near my mower there, those you never really can get rid of it unless you're double, you know, say you went over the whole property a second time, which in this case, blowing clippings, mowing it, you have the length, you have the clipping fest, and then I'm not gonna double mow it, you know, to get it perfect, because next week is gonna be, instead of 8 inches, it'll be 6 inches, because this was in between 3 weeks. So I'm just kind of dealing with the growth as best as I can. This lawn, literally, you could probably cut this lawn 2 times a week to get it perfect. So you'll see I'm using a technique. It's just going backwards. Oh, and if you guys don't have a jug, man, I highly recommend getting a jug if you're out doing lawn care, or a cooler or something. I don't want to mess with the ice, so I just carry a jug. But yeah, I'm moving. Sometimes I go forward. Sometimes I'm going backwards. But you can see that whole hill, the pile, the clippings is almost disappeared. Now, where does that go? That goes, some people will say, hey, that goes and that gives you thatch. That's one opinion. The other opinion is it's good for the lawn to do that, to have all the clippings in there.
I probably would say I agree with that, but the thing is, you're gonna get all that extra organic material. It's gonna make it grow even more because you fertilize it, all that nitrogen and potassium and whatever else, iron or whatever else they're using in there. Maybe they're using micronutrients. Who knows? All that's going back in, and it's gonna get decomposed, broken down over time, of course. And then you're just gonna get more growth. So me, ultimately, you would want to, I would say, if this was my lawn, like my house, my lawn, and it's growing like that, I would be mowing it 2 times a week and bag mowing it, because that's just crazy. It's almost like it's not, it almost grows like it's like an overgrown property. It just grows crazy fast. But yeah, that's a PB9010T that I have on my back. Pretty heavy. It's not the most ergonomic backpack. But I mean, if you're trying to blow leaves, trying to blow clippings, you might as well get the big boy, and just man up. I'd be interested in one of the BR800s. I just don't like. It's a still. I don't like. I'm not a fan. They have like a plastic. I think they have a plastic camshaft or something. Or like a crank, and then here the camera is super fogged up, but this is what you get with the Bermuda. This is push mode and bag, guys, and you can see this lawn is almost perfectly cut. You can see it's taken just a little bit off of the color. It's almost perfect. You give this 2 days, it'll be green, and that's a weekly customer right there. So you can see there, you see those lines? The guy, their applicator, another applicator store, they came, and you'll see these patches, guys. They spilled high nitrogen fertilizer in the burned areas, but the areas where they're spilling enough but not to burn it, it's growing like crazy, guys. It's crazy. And then these guys are pretty cool, but they always like stare at me.
Did this one too. Looks pretty good. Yeah, I didn't get much filming on my weeklies. That last one was a weekly, and the one before that was a weekly. But yeah, they go a lot smoother. The lawn needs more tender love and care, if that makes sense, than a bi-weekly. Just because you're there, not that you don't give great service for bi-weekly, but you can only mulch up clippings, overgrown clippings, so much for the price. Also too, make sure, if you're not, make sure you're charging a little more, at least, I'd say at least 30%, 35% more than a weekly. So if you would mow a customer, and I always clarify, like, hey, are you looking for weekly or a bi-weekly? And if they're like, oh, I don't know, then I'll give them both, but they'll both be different prices. And I usually around here, like that neighborhood that I'm in, they like, majority of them, there was other lawn care guys there, majority of them, they do it year round. So they like their yard looking good even when it's dormant. Then you have some people say they're more a bi-weekly customer. They'll want to jump off as soon as the grass starts to go dormant, and it's still kind of growing. So you know, your product is better. Your name stands out if you're there weekly versus bi-weekly. But over here, some lawns don't really need bi-weekly. My lawn, I gotta do it weekly. Cut you off. But yeah, anyway, what I was saying is, sorry, I keep yawning. So weekly is easier on machinery, but you do put more hours on it, so it's kind of a trade. You're spending less time blowing things off weekly versus bi-weekly, of course, and you're not there as long. And I wouldn't say the customer's better, because the customers can be good either way. But if you're interested in doing bushes or some light tree trimming or some mulch or planting flowers or doing extras, landscaping, the likelihood, there's more percentage of getting that type of work with a weekly type of client. Not that some bi-weeklies don't do that either. So it just depends, but this is my perspective in Georgia. So you guys, maybe you live in Ohio, the grass is completely different, the season is a little bit different, you know, you're mowing at a different height. So this is really for my area, and maybe for, you know, like Florida or Alabama area. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to show the differences of weekly versus bi-weekly, so you guys can, number one, chime in what you guys think about it. Number two, let me know what you guys do, and then just to see kind of the difference of what you're doing or what I'm doing. So the cool thing with weekly, and this goes to today, so the bi-weekly, the customer, he had construction, I couldn't service that property for 3 weeks, so that's not bi-weekly. So now his week has thrown off, so I can either, you know, try to jump through hoops and get him to mow back-to-back weeks, or just say, oh, I just changed my schedule. You know, keep in mind, guys, I make the schedule, I make it, I think this year I made it in January. Now it changes, but you know, that's how scheduling I am. So, and then he didn't reach out to me to let me know that was going on, so I was just kind of thrown in the wind. No problem, but that I'm just giving you the example of what can happen. You know, someone may be different than me, and that may stress them out, you know. And then what I was gonna say for weather, so say it rains for weekly, you can just skip that week. and then it becomes a bi-weekly, and then you jump back on the weekly. You know, yeah, it might be a little overgrown, but the customer, as long as you communicate with them, they will understand, hey, it's raining. You know, you will have to skip. You skip a bi-weekly, you might not be there for 3-4 weeks. Then you're looking at, you like cutting grass monthly? No. So I don't. So just kind of some food for thought. And I thought it was a good video topic, because sometimes you go into it and you want to take every customer, but it may be beneficial for you to take weeklies or bi-weeklies. Me, I have both, so I'm torn between both. I like the ease of a bi-weekly customer, but I like the ease of the weekly lawn. And then if you have weeklies, that's more customers. So more customers, when the season starts slowing down, that's more customers to prolong your season, as opposed to everyone wanting to jump off, then you have no work. So something you can just account for, but and prepare for. But yeah, hope this helps. I'm probably missing a bunch of stuff, but I'm just doing a video as I'm going throughout the day. And honestly, I forgot I was even doing a video. That's why I did a couple drive-bys and a couple quick shoots. But main topic is it's bi-weeklies versus weeklies, or weeklies versus bi-weeklies. So thanks for tuning in. This is Alex with Jolka Outdoors. I hope you had a good one, and have a great evening or morning or whatever you're having right now. So over here, when I'm making it, it's 5:48 p.m. So it's evening here. So have a good evening.